Just give us an update on what we should be watching out for in these earnings.
Yeah, Joumanna, I mean, for the past few weeks, months, we've been talking about Vivendi and Canal Plus and really this takeover offer of Multichoice. And so the expectation is really that this takeover is likely going to overshadow a lot of the results that we get later today. But when we talk about the earnings, there's a lot of other macro issues, as you just mentioned, that are potentially going to weigh on any sort of earnings that we get from Multichoice. Notably, you mentioned the Naira, which is particularly interesting, too, because we have also a strong rand that potentially contributed to it. We also earlier this year saw Showmax, which many people say it's the competitor to Netflix on the continent, getting a revamp. So a lot of these things potentially impacting the earnings for Multichoice. But, you know, they potentially did get a boost, though, from other big global events. And so the question is, though, really, what is the takeover offer and how is that going to impact future growth for the company?
The signals from Multichoice is that they're open to a full takeover for Canal Plus. I think they already have an ownership of about 45% or something, and so they're open to a full takeover. How is that likely to affect future plans and some of the the language around the outlook that comes out today?
Right. You know, we're expecting to hear a lot about it, especially because the period just opened up in terms of how many more shares that they can buy earlier this month, and so the question is, how is that going to impact the rest of the year? Because the period where they can take over more shares lasts until next April. And so we'll see really how this impacts it. But you can expect that the CEO will get a lot of questions about it. And in particular, the regulatory issues around what happens with this deal, what the South African regulators are asking for, and potentially then what does it mean if we do see a spinoff of this, and what it means on the continent, because we have really seen Vivendi and Canal Plus trying to make inroads onto the continent, onto the streaming offerings that are on the continent. And so we'll see really if they're able to do that and what sort of costs are going to have to go into being successful at that.
Yeah.